Have you ever stopped to think about the meaning of the word Semite? Or how it connects to a rich tapestry of stories and cultures that have shaped our world? The origin of the Semitic peoples, rooted in the pages of the Bible, is a journey that takes us back to ancient times, where each name and each lineage holds secrets about civilizations that flourished and influenced humanity. Imagine how these stories, which originate from the figure of Shem, son of Noah, intertwine with the formation of nations, religions, and traditions. Now, reflect, what do these connections mean to you? Throughout this video, we will open a portal to the past, unraveling the genealogy of Shem and the legacies he left behind. We will explore from the Elamites to the Hebrews, passing through the Assyrians and Arabs, and understand how these peoples shaped history and spirituality. And don't forget, as you dive into this universe, each detail can reveal something new about our own identity. Stay tuned, because the next part of this narrative is about to be revealed. Origin of the term Semite. When we talk about the term Semite, it's interesting to delve a bit into the etymology of the word. The root of this term refers to the name Shem, who is one of Noah's sons, as narrated in the book of Genesis. This biblical origin carries considerable weight, as Shem is a central figure in the genealogy of various nations and peoples that developed in antiquity. It is fascinating how a word can carry with it centuries of history and meanings that go beyond what it seems at first glance. The term Semite, therefore, is not just a linguistic or cultural classification. It suggests a deep and ancestral connection between the peoples who descend from Shem. In a broader context, the word has become a label to designate a group of societies that share not only a common origin but also similar cultural and linguistic characteristics. This etymology is a reminder that the roots of culture are often intertwined with religious and mythological narratives. It's interesting to notice that, over time, the concept of Semite has expanded to include not only the direct descendants of Shem but also those who, in some way, identify with his cultures and traditions. Thus, the term evolved, reflecting the complexities of human interactions and migrations over the centuries. This evolution leads us to reflect on what it means to be part of a cultural group and how that identity is shaped by historical narratives. Furthermore, the use of the term Semite throughout history also presents nuances. On many occasions, it has been used in a pejorative manner, especially in contexts of discrimination and prejudice. This makes us think about how words can carry different meanings over time, depending on the context in which they are used. The term, which should symbolize a connection and a common heritage, has often been distorted, showing that human relationships are complex and multifaceted. The origin of the term Semite invites us to a deeper reflection on how words shape our understanding of collective identity. They are not just labels but rather bearers of histories, traditions, and legacies that intertwine over the centuries, reminding us that we are all part of a vast cultural fabric that continues to develop and transform. Genealogy of Shem. The genealogy of Shem is a fascinating topic, full of characters who played significant roles in the formation of various ancient civilizations. Shem had 5 sons: Elam, Ashur, Arphaxad, Lud, and Aram. Each of these sons is associated with different regions and cultures, demonstrating how Shem's heritage spread across vast areas of the Middle East. This dispersion is not limited to geography alone but is also reflected in the traditions, languages, and customs that developed over time. Elam, for example, is often identified with the Elamites, a people who inhabited the region of present-day Iran. This civilization is known for its contributions to architecture and writing, being one of the first to develop a form of cuneiform writing. The influence of the Elamites can be seen in various areas, such as art and religion, showing how the genealogy of Shem intertwines with the development of complex societies. Ashur, on the other hand, is considered the ancestor of the Assyrians, a people who stood out for their military empire and their innovations in administration. The Assyrian civilization is known for its achievements in engineering, art, and literature. The military conquests of the Assyrians also had a great impact on the ancient world, shaping the power dynamics of the time. Thus, the figure of Ashur becomes emblematic not only of a lineage but of a legacy that still resonates in historical narratives. Arphaxad, one of the sons of Shem, is often associated with the lineage of the Hebrews. This connection is significant because the Hebrews played a crucial role in the formation of religious traditions that still impact the contemporary world. The story of Arphaxad and his descendants leads us to reflect on the importance of Semitic identity in the construction of religious and cultural narratives that shape societies to this day. Lud and Aram also have their stories and legacies. Lud is typically related to peoples who inhabited areas of North Africa and the Middle East, while Aram is associated with the region of Mesopotamia. Together, these sons of Shem form a rich and diverse tapestry that illustrates how genealogy can influence not only the identity of a people but also their interactions with other civilizations. The genealogy of Shem reminds us that behind every cultural group, there are origin stories that help shape collective identity. Semitic peoples and their civilizations. When we look at the Semitic peoples, we are faced with an impressive diversity of civilizations that significantly contributed to the history of humanity. The Assyrians, for example, were known for their military empire and their innovations in administration and engineering. Their conquests not only expanded their borders but also left a cultural legacy that influenced neighboring civilizations. Assyrian art, filled with reliefs and inscriptions, is a testament to their cultural richness and power. The Babylonians, descendants of the Semites, also played a crucial role in ancient history. They are often remembered for their code of laws, the Code of Hammurabi, which established principles of justice and governance that still resonate in modern society. Furthermore, Babylon was a center of learning and science, with significant contributions to mathematics and astronomy. The Babylonian civilization is a clear example of how the Semitic peoples were fundamental to the development of human knowledge. The Hebrews, another Semitic group, are notable for their religious and cultural influence. The Jewish tradition, with its sacred scriptures and ethical teachings, shaped not only Hebrew identity but also had a profound impact on Christianity and Islam. The story of the Hebrews, marked by events like the Exodus, is a narrative of resilience and faith that continues to inspire millions of people around the world. The Phoenicians also deserve mention, mainly for their maritime and commercial skills. Known as the navigators of the Mediterranean, the Phoenicians founded colonies and established trade routes that connected different cultures. Perhaps their most lasting contribution is the invention of the alphabet, which served as a basis for many of the writing systems used today. The Phoenician civilization is a perfect example of how interactions between peoples can lead to significant innovations. We cannot forget the Arabs, who, over the centuries, became one of the most influential cultural forces in the world. The expansion of Islam in the 7th century brought with it a rich legacy of knowledge, art, and literature. The Arabs were fundamental in the preservation and dissemination of knowledge from antiquity, as well as contributing their own innovations in various areas, such as mathematics and medicine. The Arab civilization is one of many that exemplify the rich cultural tapestry that emerges from the Semitic legacy. Religious influence. The Semitic peoples have a deeply rooted relationship with the three great monotheistic religions, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. This connection is not only historical but also spiritual and cultural, shaping the identity of these civilizations over the centuries. Judaism, for example, is the religion founded on the traditions and teachings of the Hebrews, who are one of the Semitic groups. The Torah, the sacred text of Judaism, is one of the main sources of teachings that influence not only religious life but also Jewish ethics and culture. Christianity, which emerged as a sect within Judaism in the 1st century, also maintains significant ties with the Semitic heritage. Jesus of Nazareth, considered the founder of Christianity, was a Hebrew, and his teachings are deeply connected to the cultural and religious context of the Semites. The Bible, which includes the Old Testament, or Tanakh, in Judaism, and the New Testament, is filled with references and narratives that reflect Semitic history and identity. Christianity's influence spread across the world, shaping societies and cultural practices in various parts of the globe. Islam, which developed in the 7th century, also has Semitic roots. The Prophet Muhammad, considered the last prophet of Islam, was Arab, and his revelations were recorded in the Quran. The narrative of Abraham, one of the Semitic patriarchs, is central to Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. Thus, the figure of Abraham establishes a bridge between these religious traditions, reinforcing the idea of a Semitic legacy that transcends borders and generations. In addition to central narratives and figures, the religious practices and ethical values of these three religions also reveal an interconnection. Codes of ethics, notions of justice, compassion, and the pursuit of truth are themes that permeate all of them. This mutual influence is a testament to the rich tapestry of the Semitic experience in human history. It is fascinating to observe how, despite differences, there is a common core that unites these traditions in continuous dialogue. The religious influence of the Semitic peoples extends far beyond theology. It permeates culture, art, philosophy, and politics throughout history. The legacy of these traditions still echoes in contemporary religious practices, showing that the interconnection between the Semitic peoples and their beliefs continues to shape the world today in significant ways. The importance of Abraham. If there is a central figure that symbolizes the identity of the Semitic peoples, that figure is undoubtedly Abraham. Known as the patriarch of the three great monotheistic religions, Abraham is not just a biblical character, he represents the foundation of a tradition that extends for millennia. The story of Abraham, marked by his relationship with God and the covenant established between them, is a narrative that resonates deeply among Jews, Christians, and Muslims, each finding meanings and interpretations that enrich their spirituality. The covenant of Abraham with God, as narrated in the book of Genesis, is a crucial point that establishes Semitic identity. God promises Abraham that he will be the father of a great nation and that his descendants will be as numerous as the stars in the sky. This promise not only defines the destiny of the Hebrews but also creates a spiritual bond that extends to all subsequent generations. Therefore, the figure of Abraham is not only an ancestor but also a symbol of faith, obedience, and commitment to the divine. Besides his religious importance, Abraham is also an icon of coexistence and interreligious dialogue. His story is an invitation to reflect on tolerance and respect among different traditions. The fact that Jews, Christians, and Muslims recognize him as a common patriarch is a testimony to the potential that the figure of Abraham has to unite rather than divide. In times of polarization and conflict, the story of Abraham can serve as a model of faith that transcends cultural and religious barriers. The narrative of Abraham also brings up questions about identity and belonging. For the Hebrews, the relationship with Abraham is a factor that reinforces the idea of a chosen people, while for Christians, he is a precursor of faith in Christ. For Muslims, Abraham's lineage culminates in Muhammad, intricately linking the traditions. This complexity of the figure of Abraham allows for a rich exploration of Semitic identity and the interactions among peoples throughout history. The importance of Abraham goes far beyond his personal story. He is a symbol of covenant, faith, and coexistence among the Semitic peoples. His influence continues to be felt in contemporary religious traditions, showing that the lessons of Abraham still have much to teach about identity, spirituality, and the pursuit of mutual understanding. The Exodus and Semitic identity. The Exodus, led by Moses, is one of the most significant events in Semitic history, not only for its religious dimension but also for its cultural and identity importance. This biblical account, which narrates the exodus of the Hebrews from Egypt and their journey toward the Promised Land, symbolizes the quest for freedom and the struggle against oppression. The narrative of the Exodus is more than just a historical account, it is a milestone that shapes the identity of the Hebrews and, by extension, of all Semitic peoples. The figure of Moses, as a leader and prophet, is central to this process. He is presented as the mediator between God and the people, receiving the tablets of the law on Mount Sinai. This moment is crucial as it establishes a set of norms and values that become the foundation of communal and religious life for the Hebrews. The delivery of the law is not merely a formality, it represents a covenant between God and his people, reinforcing Semitic identity as a chosen people with a special mission in history. The Exodus is also a powerful symbol of resistance and hope. The liberation from Egyptian slavery is a narrative that echoes throughout history, inspiring movements for justice and freedom in various cultures. The concept of Exodus has transcended the Hebrew narrative and has become a reference for those who fight against oppression in all its forms. Thus, the event is not just a story from the past but continues to resonate in contemporary struggles for rights and dignity. Moreover, the Exodus plays a significant role in the formation of Hebrew culture. Festivities, such as Passover, celebrate this liberation and are a way of keeping the collective memory of the people alive. The narrative is retold from generation to generation, reinforcing family and community bonds. This practice of remembering and celebrating the Exodus is a testament to the resilience and continuity of Semitic identity, even in the face of adversity. The impact of the Exodus on Semitic identity is undeniable. It not only shaped the Hebrews' understanding of themselves but also influenced how the Semites relate to the world around them. The quest for freedom, justice, and identity continues to be a central theme in the Semitic narrative, showing that the legacy of the Exodus is a source of inspiration that endures through the centuries. Semitic language. When we talk about the Semitic language, it is impossible not to be impressed by the richness and diversity that this language family offers. The Semitic languages, which include Hebrew, Aramaic, and Arabic, among others, are spoken in a vast region that stretches from the Middle East to parts of North Africa. This diversity is not just a matter of different dialects, it also reflects the cultural and historical interaction among the peoples who speak them. Hebrew, for example, had its classical form, used in the Bible, but over the centuries it evolved and modernized, becoming the official language of the State of Israel. This adaptation demonstrates how Semitic languages are dynamic and adjust to the needs of their speakers. Aramaic, in turn, has a rich and complex history. It was the common language of the Persian Empire and, interestingly, was also the language that Jesus Christ probably spoke. This language, which today is considered endangered, is still spoken in some small communities, which reveals how Semitic languages can carry a significant cultural heritage. Aramaic symbolizes a bridge between the past and the present, allowing the traditions and stories of the Semitic peoples to be kept alive through language. Arabic, with its vast range of dialects and a rich literature, is a language that not only connects millions of speakers in various countries but also acts as a vehicle for cultural and religious expression. Classical Arabic, which is the language of the Quran, remains a fundamental reference point for contemporary speakers. This language is not just a means of communication but also an expression of identity and a symbol of unity among the Arab peoples. Additionally, the interconnections among these languages are fascinating. Many words and grammatical structures are shared among them, evidencing a common heritage. This interrelationship not only enriches the language but also provides clues about the history and interactions among the peoples who speak these languages. Linguistic research has revealed how migrations and cultural exchanges shaped the development of Semitic languages over the centuries. The Semitic language is a testament to the resilience and adaptability of the Semitic peoples. Throughout history, even in the face of challenges and drastic changes, these peoples have managed to preserve their language and identity. The Semitic language is not just a means of communication, it is a fundamental part of the very culture, history, and identity of the peoples who speak it. And so, after diving into the intriguing origins of the Semitic peoples, we can see how these stories are intertwined with our own journey. Each of us carries a bit of this legacy on our own paths. Have you ever stopped to think about how the faith of Abraham, the experiences of Moses, and the challenges faced by so many people still resonate today? What lessons can we draw from this rich historical tapestry? Now, reflect. What have you learned today that you can apply to your life? What connections do you see between Semitic history and your own journey? The Bible is not just an ancient book, it is a guide that still speaks to us, challenges us, and inspires us. And don't forget, if you enjoyed this video and wish to continue exploring the depths of the history, spirituality, and cultures that have shaped our world, subscribe to the channel, activate notifications, and join us on this journey of discovery. Oh, and before you go, take a look at the next video on your screen. It promises to bring more fascinating insights you won't want to miss. Let's go together on this quest for knowledge and understanding.